Hello everyone, Felix here, and today we'll be talking about the 4 Battleborn factions. We start off with the Chroniclers of the Universe, the Eldred. The oldest of the factions, they are chroniclers that are compelled to understand, catalog, and protect the natural order through hands-off, observation-based research. While the Eldred are comprised of different races that slowly came together across hundreds of thousands of years, scholars agree that it was the ancient Astanti that laid the foundation of what would become the Eldred. The races that make up the Eldred, the Eldrin, Akuni dwarves, among others, all have connections with nature. Among these, the Akuni dwarves, Ecuador natives, are held in high regard among the Eldred for their innate understanding of geology and botany. The most recent race to settle on Ecuador are the tall and agile Eldrin, who were forced to move en masse to the Eldred planet after their homeworld Eshteni was darkened by the Varelsi. With a millennium-long lifespan, the Eldrin are passionate protectors of the natural order of the universe and are the core race of the Eldred. Eldred value the natural universe above all else. They spend a lot of time and resources observing, cataloging, and preserving anything and everything they can get their hands on. All of this knowledge was kept in the planet Codex, home to the massive data troves encoded into the DNA structure of the planet's massive Elim trees. However, Codex was veiled by the Varelsi, but no need to worry about the biggest library in the universe getting destroyed, book lovers. The Eldred implemented a process called the Seeding Protocol, with which they backed up all the data on Codex and transferred it to Ecuador, meaning that all the data of what the universe once was will still be available to all as long as the Battleborn can send the Varelsi packing. And good thing too. In order to maintain all of this knowledge, the Eldred sent numerous research teams to planets and civilizations all across the universe to help out and catalog it all. When some civilization didn't comply to their demands though, they were not above enlisting some military might to make their compliance compulsory. According to Eldred ideology, every star and planet, living being, atom, and even the beams of light are expressions of the grand cosmic engine. The purpose of life is to understand and maintain that engine. The point of this is that the Eldred revere nature, not life itself. They refer to the natural order of the physical universe. With this in mind, don't think that all this research and nature loving means that they're above getting their hands dirty. The Eldred will fiercely oppose anyone and anything that tries to disrupt the natural order. This faction absolutely despises any being that attempts to corrupt or distort the core rules and laws of the universe. And the Varelsi represent everything that the Eldred hate. Their war with the Varelsi isn't only one of survival. For them, this is personal. Now, for the pragmatic perfectionists, the Generate Imperium. The Generates strive for perfection, and they're not gonna let something as silly as mortality stand in their way. To this end, they harness the dark energies of the universe to twist the natural order to their liking. With their knowledge and experience with dark engines, they must choose what they will do in the coming war. Will they side with Rendane, or will they fight against him? Before the Varelsi came to wreck everything, the Generate had the farthest reach out of all the civilizations of the known universe. They are scientists, efficient at survival, and have strong appreciation for warfare and martial combat. Although the Empire itself is composed of various races, only the core members are actually called Generate. The actual Generate have angular facial features and 4-fingered hands. The Generate Imperium hates flaws and inefficiencies. Because of this, their society is divided into 3 layers, with the genetically altered Sustain at the top, the non-Sustain Generate just below them, and then everyone else below that. At the lowest tier of their social society are the Thralls, altered beasts with slight intelligence that are used for slave labor and as grunt warriors. The official motto of the Generate is, any deed, any price. This comes from the fact that the Generate are pragmatic and perfectionists. anything that's not perfect must be fixed or destroyed. And if they must bend the laws of the universe to achieve this, then the laws of the universe must be bent. Tens of thousands of years ago, Empress Leonore discovered sustainment. Through expending huge amounts of energy, they can make a being that does not age or become ill, effectively becoming nearly immortal. Because sustainment consumes energy on a planetary scale, it is rarely done and must be approved by the Empress herself. Lothar Rendane was the right hand of Empress Leonore, led the Generate military and served as the central commander for the multi-faction alliances that fought against the Varelsi. As more star systems became consumed, Rendane saw the end as inevitable and came to the conclusion that he had to do something to survive. And so, he betrayed his Empress and started aiding the Varelsi in the destruction of the remainder of the universe. Survival comes first to Rendane, and as the Generate creed goes, any deed, any price. Seeing his alliance with the Varelsi as the most pragmatic option, Rendane led a coup on the throne world of Genar, which led to the darkening of the planet and everyone on it, including Empress Leonore. With the Empress overthrown, Rendane established his new order, named the Generate Imperium, and dealt with any still loyal to the old order. Now, Rendane fights a war of two fronts. On one side, he fights the Battleborn to darken the remainder of the universe. On the other, he fights the resistance that's rising up from the Imperium itself. They live in abandoned ships among the asteroids of the Detritus Ring. It's time for the Rogues. The Rogues are made up of vagabonds, pirates, raiders, mercenaries, hermits, people who value freedom over everything else. They are people without affiliations. For some rogues, freedom means freeing others of their most prized possessions. For others, it means living isolated, away from the rules, restrictions, and conflicts that plague the rest of the universe. Even though they unanimously despise organizations and governance, there is one person that they'll rally behind and allow to lead: Reina the Valkyrie Valeria. She's become the de facto leader of the rogues, being the one that can command respect from almost all of them, mostly because they owe her favors. She earned the nickname the Valkyrie for going out of her way to save, protect, and recruit any discarded or disgruntled warriors from the other factions. Now, not all the rogues are criminals. Some of them just want to be left alone. But they all value freedom and pleasure over everything else. The ambitious members of the faction delve into at least one of three forms of piracy: raids, relics, and shard jumping. Raids are bandit attacks on unprotected settlements or ships. The rogues that fancy themselves skilled enough hunt down Asanti relics, powerful remnants of a long abandoned civilization. These items are sought after by high bidders of the other factions. Bringing one in guarantees you a large sum of money. If you can get past the sentinels that guard them, that is. Shard jumping is a high reward form of theft. As stars are darkened, they emit energy waves that, when they pass through certain particles or atmospheres, become shards. These shards are great sources of energy that are extremely valuable where sources are low. Rogues are experts in tracking down shard clusters or taking them from others. On to the next one. So money focus you'd think Mr. Krabs was running the show, the Last Light Consortium. The Last Light Consortium, or LLC for short, are the merchants of what's left of the universe. They're made up of makers, bankers, entertainers, traders, sellers, inventors, and war profiteers. The LLC used to be part of the United Peacekeeping Republic, but when the second one tried to create a settlement by force in Equinor and were driven back by the Eldred forces, the LLC decided to make an opportunity out of it. They splintered off the UPR with the goal of selling war machines to the two factions. After a couple of revolutions and some peace negotiations about 2 years ago, the LLC accepted true artificial intelligence robots, also known as Magnuses, as equal members of their society. Due to this, the members of the faction are split almost equally between humans, Magnuses, and hybrids of the two. Even though the LLC is composed of many guilds and corporations, the most noteworthy is Minion Robotics. As the #1 manufacturer of war machines, which include minions, sentries, turrets, and nodes, their products are in high demand in a universe that's running out of soldiers and fighters. Minion Robotics has been around for over 500 years. Most of the time, it was led by Magna's CEO, Isaac. During the Great Severance, Isaac left the corporation to pursue other interests, and CTO Cleese took over for a brief amount of time. As in, he only stayed as CEO for a couple of hours before he realized that no human could effectively perform the complex calculations needed to keep functioning at optimal efficiency. In order to join the LLC, an established permanent link to Magna Carta was needed. Magna Carta was a trade specialist Magnus that oversaw all trade contracts and agreements for the faction, and administered the positions of new members in the organization. The LLC are so wealthy that they value demonstrations of said wealth in every aspect of their lives. This can be seen in their clothing, tool design, weaponries, and their machines of war. Now, when it's time to hold the line, you can count on the United Peacekeeping Republic, or Peacekeepers for short. The Peacekeepers are a coalition of democratic societies that came together for the purpose of fighting the Varelsi and protecting all of those unable to protect themselves. With so many planets being darkened by the Varelsi, the Peacekeepers adopted a nomadic lifestyle with an ever-growing fleet of ships. Since then, they've been growing their numbers with civilians and refugees rescued from their homeworlds before darkening. After the previously mentioned attempt to create a base on Ekunar and the split with the LLC, the Peacekeepers finally settled on Bliss, the largest moon of the gas giant Nilo. No matter how diverse the Peacekeepers are, and they're pretty diverse, they are held together by an overwhelming sense of honor and a mission to answer the call of duty. Peacekeeper training prepares its members for any given situation. They may have their weak points, but they are well-rounded on the battlefield. It is Peacekeeper belief that a combination of guts, guns, and grenades will win the day. Because of this, they have a combination of short-range fighters, minigunners, and air support. The more diverse their armory, the better prepared they'll be. Well, that's it for this one, everyone. If you had to, which of the factions would you be signing up with? As always, my name is Felix, and I'll see y'all next time.